Hello and welcome to High Vibe Astrology. This is Jennifer, back with a video on the Sagittarius New Moon. And this is taking place in my neck of the woods for 6:32 p.m. Eastern Time. As you can hear in my voice, I am still getting over this flu, and it has been quite a wild ride since the Gemini full moon. So much has happened, a lot of deep emotional, cathartic cleansing, physical cleansing, old patterns from the past that needed to be revisited for healing purposes. And there's been a lot of, for me at least, a lot of emotional cleansing, which includes just crying it out, having that tantrum, being so present with what you're feeling and allowing that inner child to be heard, and then being done with it. But there was a lot of this process taking place in the last couple of weeks, a lot of stressful moments, outer activities that triggered pain from the past and grief, loss, abandonment, all of those things. So it's all part of the process leading up to what is not just a new moon, Sagittarius new moon, but also the 12/12 gateway. And, these gateways are opportunities to level up to a higher frequency, higher consciousness, which for me means greater expression, greater freedom in our life. And I see that certainly in this new moon chart. And for those of you who are new, I'm so happy that you're here joining our community where we raise the vibration and know that this microcosmic community and even the microcosm of our individual lives immediately reverberates into the collective. So if you are new, I just will mention that I read charts as event charts because I do trust the microcosm to macrocosm relationship. And as I read this chart as, I would somebody's birth chart, it's literally how we are being birthed on this day of the new moon and the 12/12 gateway. So with Cancer rising, the moon becomes the ruler of this chart. And of course, we are at the Sagittarius new moon, taking place in the 6th house of health, daily affairs, our daily routine. And Sagittarius is mutable fire. So mutable is changeable, but it also refers to many things going on at the same time. Mutable signs often have a lot of different projects going on at the same time. And when we're talking about mutable fire, fire is what inspires us. It is activity. It is highly creative. And so mutable fire is going to be multiple inspirational activities going on at the same time. With Mars conjunct this new moon, it adds even more fuel to the flame and much more confidence, courage, and also just energy and drive, wanting to liberate ourselves from 6th house restrictions. And when I say that, every single house or sector in astrology represents many things, not just one. The 6th house, of course, does represent health, our daily routine and our daily job. It also represents relationships that can feel uneven, like professor to student, doctor to patient, master, apprentice, whatever, you fill in the blank. But there is an uneven quality to the relationships in this sector of astrology. And the 6th house is also about serving. It's about efficiency and leveling up, improving our skills so that we feel good enough to present them, The sixth house is the natural house of Virgo, and Virgo is sometimes can be overly concerned with perfecting something and not wanting to reveal anything about the project that it's working on until it's absolutely perfect. But we have to remember that perfection is an illusion. There is no finite expression of perfection. We live in an infinite world, therefore things are always ongoing, always evolving, always perfecting. And sometimes we have to remind ourselves of that when we're dealing with sixth house energy. And I see that happening in this case. What I feel overall is that this energy is about emancipating us from feelings of unworthiness, from feelings of not enough, not good enough, I'll never get there, etc. We're emancipating ourselves from that attitude in this beautiful trine to the North Node and Chiron in Aries in the 10th house. So the dynamic between the 6th house and 10th house is the 6th house is the daily job, the bill-paying job, or the daily routine that feels a bit, or that can feel quite unfulfilling. The 10th house, on the other hand, is our destiny, our calling in the world. What is it that we are really called to be? And it's our status as well. So in this trine from the 6th house to the 10th house, and North Node also representing our destiny and purpose. With the North Node in the 10th house, this is like a double signifier of our destiny coming into being. And we are feeding it with this optimistic Sagittarius new moon, fueled even more by Mars conjunct the new moon. And the fact that Mars is the ruler of Aries, where we find the North Node, and we are energizing it, saying this is our destiny as humanity. We are destined to be free, to be creative entrepreneurs, to be independent in our movement toward our destiny, in our pathway forward, how we carve out a space for our individual expression and contribution in the world. Now, getting back to the rising sign being Cancer and signifying that the chart ruler then is the moon. And of course, that moon is in this Sagittarius new moon cycle on the 12/12 gateway. This is of great importance because I just feel so much optimism tied into this. So first of all, Cancer rising is about emotional connection, not ignoring our emotions, but allowing them to actually be felt, be present with our emotions. And anytime we have a water sign rising, this means that we are super sensitive to the emotions of other people around us. Water signs on the ascendant are always like sponges. They absorb all of the psychic energy and emotional vibrations of the people right around them. But this is the lens through which we are viewing life right now, through the lens of our tribe in some way and through the ancestral lineage, because Cancer has so much to do, mostly with a mother or the maternal line, but certainly our ancestral line altogether. So we're viewing life through that lens, looking at our family history, looking at what does not serve us as we move forward. To consider the moon as the chart ruler, we're going to, of course, refer back to the Sagittarius new moon placement in the 6th house. And Sagittarius is known for its faith, its optimism, and the glass half full rather than half empty, because Sagittarius rules the 9th house of broader horizons, being able to look well beyond what we were taught growing up, looking way beyond the immediate horizon to the much broader horizons and the larger world out there, which includes the cosmos, not just other nations on this earth. So the way that we connect is, I read this as making the world our family, or growing into an attitude, that lens through which we view life, growing into a more inclusive attitude as to who and what constitute our family, and who and what constitutes our homeland, represented by the sign of Cancer. And of course, we also have to consider that with that new moon being in the 6th house of the body-mind-spirit connection, and also this microcosm to macrocosm connection, our first home is our body. And how are we going to take care of our body moving forward? And how is the health system going to respond to our newfound energy and drive toward greater freedom within our body and our wellness, the body-mind-spirit connection? How are we going to gain greater freedom within the health environment? I feel that these are all going to be extremely important questions that we're going to entertain and adopt a more entrepreneurial spirit as we move forward from this 12/12 gateway and the Sagittarius new moon. So to me, this is very exciting. Now let's see. Jupiter, as the ruler of this Sag new moon, is in the 11th house. And the 11th house, of course, represents future hopes and wishes, the evolution of humanity, advanced technology. But this technology that we are moving into isn't necessarily the science and technology from our past or what we've been taught to rely on as the final word. With Jupiter in Taurus, this involves the body because it's an earth sign. And even though this new moon is in the sign of Sagittarius, it is in an earth house, in the 6th house, representing body-mind-spirit connection. So I feel that this technological advancement involves, without a doubt, the technology that resides right within the physical body. And this is emphasized by the placement of Uranus and Sedna. Sedna went retrograde, and so it is now in Taurus again at 29 degrees, a critical degree. So we are revisiting our relationship to the earth and our relationship to our own body. Uranus in its natural domain is emphasizing this advancement in technology, but in an earth sign. So the technology of the earth, our connection to the earth, and our connection to how the body is designed to heal itself, to emancipate itself from death and disease. And I believe that that is the future that we are well into. And the future is now, really. It is in this very moment. And the relationship that we practice on a daily basis, again, 6th house placement of this Sagittarius new moon. We also have a very close quincunx between Uranus and this new moon in Sagittarius. So that just speaks to an awkward relationship between where we want to go with these humanitarian efforts and how to move humanity forward with this new technology that is found right within the body, and how we were created. And so many things that have been taught to us that were superfluous, that were, junk, like junk DNA, quote unquote, is anything but junk DNA. And this whole awakening process of our planet is really about awakening the dormant DNA within our bodies. For thousands of years now, technology has been trying to improve upon nature, and there is no way that you can improve upon nature. Nature works through efficiency and knows how to bring about the best possible outcome while including all living organisms and their well-being. So this whole notion of trying to improve upon something that was created imperfectly, and I think that we need to really look at that and question that philosophy. That philosophy no longer holds true. We have to recognize that many things about our body composition have yet to be discovered in terms of anti-aging or aging backwards and really providing optimal health for not just the human body, but for all living beings. The other aspect is this square from Neptune. And this to me, involving Sagittarius and Pisces and Neptune on the midheaven, this is this crisis in beliefs. Sagittarius represents beliefs and Pisces represents beliefs. But along this topic of health and the technology that we will find and rediscover in Earth, nature, and our own bodies, we have to consider that Neptune on the midheaven may very well have something to do with Big Pharma, because Neptune and Pisces rules drugs, it rules toxicity in the body, and substance abuse, or, relying too heavily on certain substances. So I think we're going to be asking more and more questions about how our health system has not really been a healthcare system, but it has truly been disease management. And has it been more about serving the corporate institutions? And was it more about economical growth for certain people rather than actually getting bodies healthy who were admitted into the medical system? Were they getting well, or were they put on this roller coaster and a vicious cycle where one disease or diagnosis led to another disease and they were put on another drug, and this vicious cycle of being in disease management rather than actually getting healthy? And this is bringing about a spiritual crisis as well. So we will have to see where all of this leads us, but definitely conflicts that will have to be resolved within not just individual lives, but also within the collective. And these are the things I think we will see coming down the pike as we move into 2024 and beyond. Now, the other thing that I have to address is this strong square from Chiron representing healing and how we go about healing in the sign of Aries is healing our own independent nature and our entrepreneurial spirit, the Pathfinder. And in its square to the sign of Cancer rising, again, this is healing our ancestral line, healing patterns that have perpetrated emotional woundedness again and again and again through the family line. But that is now something that we are healing, and it needs to happen. And of course, we have this ongoing square from Saturn to Sedna. I did a separate video on that, so I would ask you to please look that up. So much great symbolism within Saturn and Sedna and what this square represents for humanity's advancement and evolution. And then we also have this trine from Pluto to Sedna, which I've touched upon but have yet to do a video on. I hope to get to that soon. But this, for me, does represent just a monumental rebirthing that is going on the planet right now. And there's a subject that Spirit has been showing me where Earth and humanity are going through this baptism by fire with Pluto and baptism by water with Sedna. And I would like to expand upon that in a video. So I think I'll leave it there. Please stay tuned, as always, for the frequencies. For the sake of time, I am not including affirmations. Once in a while, I have to do this, and to save my voice and to save on time and get this video out to you today, I am just going to include the frequencies and invite you to write your own affirmations for this very auspicious 12/12 Gateway and Sagittarius New Moon. Thanks again for tuning in, and I look forward to being with you in the next video. Bye for now. Sun, New Moon, and Jupiter for the Sagittarius New Moon. Sun, New Moon, and Mars for the conjunction. Sun, New Moon, and Neptune for the square. Sun, New Moon, and Uranus for the quincunx. Sun, New Moon, and Chiron for the trine to the new moon. This is Mars and Chiron representing the trine from the ruler of the North Node in Aries to the North Node and Chiron. This is Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter for the opposition and trine to Jupiter. Saturn and Sedna for the square. Pluto and Sedna for the trine.